Well, welcome everybody. I was wondering how many people would show up, being it's Thanksgiving week and everything.
Absolutely. And
Cybercrime doesn't take a holiday, Ben.
I guess that's kind of a fair question. Just for the audience we've had, have you personally seen attacks go up for your clients over holidays like Thanksgiving, like the New Year's holiday and the Christmas holiday and the like?
I don't think I've ever seen a specific attack, at least not the one that I was immediately informed about.
Eric
Thanks,
says
Eric. I
yes.
appreciate the feedback.
Um,
Yeah, no, it's like, we've all seen the solar winds and everything else, but I was just kind of curious for the boots on the ground, what your real world experience has been.
I think I did spend last either Christmas or Thanksgiving changing all my passwords when the LastPass thing hit. But yeah, does
Gosh,
that
we all
count?
went through that. Yeah, I think so. Fantastic. Everyone, thanks for joining us. Thanks for those who continue to trickle in. We'll continue to add you. This is our weekly office hours where we're going to talk about whatever's on your mind. So we're always like to start with Ben to get the juices flowing. Ben, what's on your mind today, my friend?
Oh, all sorts of dark web goodness. No, but nothing too crazy.
Okay. Um, I guess it's fair since this is time for our partners. Does anybody have anything that's burning their biscuits right now? Anything that's really important that you wanted to bring up at the top here? That changes. Give a shout out. That's what we're here for, guys. Ben, was there something you wanted to talk to us about today?
Yes. Let me
Excellent.
share my screen. So today we are going to talk about uh, data extortion, which usually follows ransomware, but can also follow business email compromise. I think we talked about that application that was going around, I think on our first webinar about the perfect data, exfiltrating data out of people's accounts, emails, SharePoint, stuff like that. Well, this is where a lot of times it can end up. So last month, according to Bleeping Computers, was a very, very busy month for ransomware. And usually what happens with these guys is they'll get into an account, they will exfiltrate all the data that they possibly can, and then encrypt it, and then charge you to get your data back, and then charge you again for them not to release it out to the public. So I thought I would take a moment and show you guys where this data ends up and how easy it is to access. And then we can talk about some respond rules to hopefully help alert you if this is happening. So I'm going to use Chasm Workspaces. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that before, but essentially it's a containerized web browser or applications that you can run that don't leave any residual things behind, which is great if you decide that you want to get on Tor, because it is a place where you have to keep your guard up. Don't obviously run anything that you download from them, and be careful what you click on. So I'm going to pray to the demo gods here that this remains PG. And I did find a couple of sites that should be okay.
I
But
got to be honest with you, Ben. I have yet to explore the dark side, Tor, anything. It just scares the hell out of me, and I don't have the education to do it without, I don't know, exposing my mother's social security number or something.
well, definitely don't answer any questions. But so there are a couple of easy ways for you to get onto Tor. Obviously, you can download the program to your computer, which is the most dangerous way, and just fire it up. A lot of people will set aside a specific computer that is maybe like air gapped from their main network on maybe a different network, or just runs Tor and that's it. There are also things like Chasm that I'm running here. That's pretty safe. It's, like I said, it's essentially running a Linux operating system with a Tor browser. But we are on the dark web now, so welcome. With the dark websites, you can tell a dark website is basically anything with a .onion on it. And we're going to be posting some videos too along with this that are made by Network Chuck. I don't know if you guys have heard of him before. He does a lot of really great educational videos, and a couple of them are not only how to get on the dark web safely, but how to create a website on the dark web. One thing that is always fun with the dark web is it is notoriously slow. That's just because it is routing your traffic through multiple different servers that are part of the Onion network. So this one it's a little bit older, but still accurate as far as when where this data resides. These are people that were ransomware, different companies, and this is their data. This is typically what happens if you don't pay. And so you can see that there's all these companies with a little bit of description as far as what kind of organization they are, maybe where they're based. Also, the amount of data that was exfiltrated. So say you wanted to hit up the Aquarius Trust Group. I think I have 10 gigs of data, not too much. Well, from here, you can, like I said, read a little bit about it, and then you have the link to their site. And a lot of times you can actually download the data as well. Typically, if it didn't pay, it will give you the option to download it if you would like to. And this is just one site. I found this by, oddly enough, Googling dark web hacker sites. You can also type it into DuckDuckGo if you feel more comfortable, and that brings up. There are a couple of sites like the Hidden Wiki and stuff like that you can use to eventually arrive at. I found a site that just lists different ransomware groups websites that is used for basically requiring getting your data bought back. Any questions so far about this? Yeah.
It's scary.
Yep.
Doesn't bring back good memories at all.
Here is where the YMCA or one of the YMCA's, since they're kind of all differently in different regions. But this one, here's the link you can see to their 28 gigs of data if they didn't pay. A lot of people don't realize how easy it is to find this information, and all I would have to do is just click on this link, and I would have whatever was exfiltrated, which typically could include social security numbers, at least names and addresses. Some of the banks can be even more information than that. I want to see if I can bring up a couple more of these. I said they are a little slow. And you may get this occasionally too. Those sites, they aren't always reliable. I'm going to try to stay away from any samples. Usually the samples still contain a lot of personal information. This one was posted, it looks like November 12th from EOS. Here's another one that's posted this month from Memorial Hospital.
I feel like there's a whole world that he didn't know was happening, that's happening just under the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And you might not be the right guy to ask this. How long has this really been going on? When did ransomware get traction and start, and people's personal data start to just dumped out to the wild here?
It's been around probably what for the last, I would say what, at least decade, right? I mean, it's ransomware is started when if it was like it was typically done at like a lower dollar amount. I remember running into it when I was running my own business, and it was, I think the first time I ran into it was they were asking for like $500 and to get your pictures back. I think that was WannaCry or something. It was very similar, and it was the first times I was exposed to it, at least.
That's crazy.
You
Thank
see
you for
the
that.
new
Thank
thing
you. I
that they're
appreciate the
doing
perspective.
now, where
Hmm.
they're if you don't pay, they're actually calling and filing a complaint on the SEC website.
I heard. Yeah, I heard that one of the groups reported a company for not disclosing that they were ransomed. I love the ransomware companies that are like, we're pen testers and everything. We're finding security holes, and it's like, no, you're holding data hostage. That's not pen testing.
And I
Real-
posted a good screenshot if anybody wants to grab it off the chat.
I saw that. That's great. Thanks, Stephen. Oh,
but I mainly wanted to show you guys this because it is a legit threat, and it is something that can easily happen to pretty much any of us. And data exfiltration is kind of one of those things where it's hard to roll back from.
The portals, I don't know if anybody's ever been ransomware. We got one of my companies got ransomware October 2021. And the whole procedure had never been on this dark web or whatever we want to call it. They have a real, I mean, at least this group, the Hive group, they had a more professional portal than we do ourselves in our companies. I mean, it was ridiculous. And then just all there you had on the left side, like even to make you worry even more, like the whole profile on your company, employees, revenue, etc. And then you were on a chat channel with them, and yeah, very entrepreneurial.
Yeah, I've heard they have great customer support. Some of these groups have like call centers, and it's gigantic amounts of money that they're making, and so they can afford to hire a help desk. But I think that's what happened with the pipeline, is that they basically were communicating with help desk, getting their data decrypted after paying.
I guess we got lucky after we paid, we got the decryption keys and everything worked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great to hear, Enrique. I'm sorry you had to go through that, but I
Why do you
think
think I
it's
became an
worth.
MSP?
That's right. I recall that now. I think it's worth reminding ourselves that these are paid professionals, paid time off, 401ks, these are 9 to 5 professional criminals with, bosses and metrics they've got to meet and everything else. And these are not, the script kiddie in grandma's basement with a case of Mountain Dew. This is a business, and frankly, they're probably more profitable than we are. So this is what we are up against every single day, and we need to never forget that.
Yep, you're 100% correct. This is huge money that they're making.
Man, if only I didn't have morals.
Yeah. Well, and the scary thought, but that some of this is really old, but that data is just out there.
It's out there forever.
Yep. But I wanted to show you
Thank you,
guas
Ben.
a little bit of
Oh
the
yeah, go
tour.
ahead. What else you want to show?
I just wanted to show you a brief tour of like I said, of the of Tor. And but now I wanted to bring up some SaaS alerts rules that I also created for different sort of data exfiltration that you guys can put in place.
Excellent.
So a couple of these that I think Jim likes to tell the story about the Chinese spy ring, about somebody that was signing in and sharing files, and the client didn't have any idea that was happening, because as soon as the files were exfiltrated, the share would go away. but our system caught it and recorded that it was happening. And this one I made, it's very simple. It's any sort of outside approved location. Feel free to tweak this to use our filters at all. But looks for any of those massive external file sharing happening. So 25 within 30 minutes is probably not normal. Something like this also have the pretty common one, just lots of downloading. More than 100 files within 30 minutes. And so this one, you can tweak this one obviously to remove false positives. The only reason that this will probably trigger is, someone pops in a new computer and maybe they're syncing their OneDrive or SharePoint or something. You may get flagged on this one as well. But you can do some really clever things like filtering by abusive IP addresses or known attackers or Tor.
That seems to me like a great example of why we don't want to store data locally on hardware. I want to work in the cloud exclusively.
Mm-hmm. But if you guys do decide, I want to go ahead and warn you a little bit. If you do decide that you want to explore the different things that you can find on the dark web, just be really careful about the links that you click. There are a lot of scary things and a lot of very illegal things on the dark web. It wasn't designed. It was designed for privacy, but with lots of privacy comes, sometimes criminals. Keep in mind.
Check out the link I sent you. See if it's still up.
Oh yeah, sure. I will click a random link.
Look at that.
Oh, that one's dead currently. Was that what they sent you, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're very easy to spin up and take down, but I'm kind of glad it's down.
Yeah.
Well, they got the FBI infiltrated them together with the Justice Department mid last year, and they shut down a big operations center they had in Los Angeles, or data center, early this year.
I saw a couple of those warnings on some different sites that I hit was, taken down by all these different organizations, all these different, like Interpol and everything else. So I was kind of glad to see those, but there were just as many up that were up and fully functional. So it's definitely a struggle. But one thing that I will say is that a lot of people have the misconception that, I'm on Tor, I'm completely anonymous, nobody can tell what I'm doing. There has been incidents, but there has been articles that have been published that different government agents are setting up Tor exit points as well, and they can tell the data that's being transmitted. They can see kind of like at least the sites that you're going to. Whack-a-mole. Yeah, exactly, Josh. Yeah. Or I always like akin it to like, there's this like really leaky dam. You plug one hole. Oh, there's another one. Nope, there's another one. But did you guys have any questions about, kind of what you saw here today? I loved Mr. Robot. That was one of my favorite TV shows. I was like, finally, it was written by someone that actually like knows the industry, and it's not like the Hackers movie where there's a bunch of bits and stuff flying around the screen and
You didn't like Hugh Jackman, like reaching out into virtual space and putting together squares and cubes?
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. I think that's for a while. That's what they thought hackers were doing.
Absolutely.
Just got tagged by Avanon for sending the link to Teams.
Who watches the watchers, indeed.
Nice.
Very good. Ben, thank you for that. parting questions? Anybody else have any questions about the dark web, Tor, Onion, or any of that?
Andy has a question.
But it's unrelated. So
Okay.
if you want to do that, close out that segment, then I'll ask my question, or I can ask
sure.
it now. I'm
Andy,
looking
how
for.
are you, man? What's
Um,
up?
I'm well. Listen, I'm starting to drill down on, is there any place at SaaS Alerts where there might be a library of respond rules or the themes that we could begin to say, hey, look, do I have this in place? Oh, this is a good idea. Let's implement it. Or maybe we should talk to our customer about this concept of having this respond rule. Is there a library of such a place yet?
We are working on something in the back end.
Yep.
So hopefully very soon.
So the answer is not yet.
Yes,
Okay.
but as I'm working on getting something like that approved.
Okay. How might I be able to find, discover, locate such a list?
So other than what's in our template library, I think the first place that the first instance of it surfacing will be here, and we'll be giving you guys the link since we're a very technical audience, and I see it being like something that we can kind of like spitball off each other, because I didn't want to confuse people and have something like the template library full of ideas that may or may not work. I wanted us to be able to kind of like have a system where we could like fine tune the rules, and someone could throw out an idea, someone could submit an idea, and we can look at it and say, and if enough people say this is good, this works, then we can look at more of an official move to a template library. If that makes sense.
Would it also be helpful to maybe map that to detect and respond, if you think about it from those first two steps? Within, I assume identify is going to be outside of what SaaS Alerts we've already established that we're identifying those things, but that would be a really nice mapping to add to the rules. This is an identify category. This is a this is a detect category. This is a respond category.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got those names coming into place already. So
yeah, I 100% agree. That is definitely something I've been mulling over. So
okay.
I appreciate that suggestion. That was really good.
So
Absolutely.
where would I find something, given that this is a week where most businesses aren't open Thursday and Friday, and I have extra bandwidth?
I would say
As-
definitely start with the templates.
yeah.
There are a
Okay.
bunch of those in there that link back to, if you look at our YouTube channel, videos that the engineer who built that rule described. Here's why I built the rule. Here's the problem we had. Here's what we found didn't work. Here's what we found did work. And then what the results were and what other madness it inspired. There's a bunch of
Okay.
little, 2 and 4 minute videos. And I
Awesome.
love having, as nice as a box of text like this is, having that insight and understanding of what the engineer was up to and what drove him to build this.
You know what?
But also, Andy, kind of in what you were talking about before, sometimes by the time those rules got published here to our Respond library, our template library, things got tweaked a little bit to perhaps be a little less aggressive or
Right.
less reactive. So it's kind of nice to look at the source code, as it were, and then what was actually published.
May I make one final suggestion with the template library? And that would be,
Please.
how about including a link to a Wixia or a YouTube that says, this is why this rule was done. You're describing it in detail here, but the why, or hey, this is why we created this, and how it impacted the customer. I think that adds also it's like putting a tip on the spear is the way to think of it.
I agree, Andy. I agree. Instead of my sort of manual nudge to go, oh, by the way, go look at our YouTube channel or go look at all the stuff that our good friend Ben has recorded. I think there is value in that, adding the link if it exists. And
Or creating them.
and to be clear, sometimes people don't want the credit. and they've shared ideas with us that we published there, and they did not want their name attached. And that's okay. I'm perfectly respectful of that, of course. But yeah, if we have video content, I think there's an absolute valid place to have a link there.
And you could actually say this covers this part of the NIST cybersecurity framework, or this is part of CIS, whatever piece. I think having that linkage is tremendous.
Thanks. I appreciate that, Andy.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Eric has his hand up.
Hey guys.
Hey.
I just wanted to bring up something that Anthony and I talked about last week when we had our company call. And as we were creating these more and more complex respond rules, a feature request that we had that came up from our team was having more details from SaaS alerts when the respond rule is triggered on what actually triggered it, because we get all these and or statements where there could be multiple alerts or different combinations of alerts that triggered that. So right now there's the little chain link icon that kind of gives us a little bit part of the way there, but any more details that we can get when that happens or when a rule is triggered, that would be helpful.
Absolutely, Eric. We appreciate the feedback. And if anybody else here thinks that would be a good idea, let your AM know, or just say, yes, you think this would be a great idea in the chat here. We love feedback like that. And you've probably all heard me say this. Feedback from partners like you is what drives our dev team to focus on one area or another. Not that they have, unlimited bandwidth, but when they do have time, they prioritize based on what my partners are asking for. So love that feedback. Thank you. Anything else kind of bouncing around your brains, guys, or are we all moved on to turkey and football?
I've already had my turkey. I had it last weekend, so I've stocked up on turkey sandwiches.
Oh, one of my favorite parts is all the leftovers. Absolutely. Let's see. Hang on, there's somebody pinging me. No. Ben, anything else that you guys wanted to bring up today? I think I'm kind of Eagles, amen. Kind of looking forward to a couple of days off. I hope it's nice and quiet for anyone. But is there anything else we can cover today that might help you get through the weekend? It looks like you've got about a half an hour of your day back. And Josh, I appreciate your confidence, and I wish you the best of luck with that.
I mean, we could talk football if you wanted to. I'll stop the recording.
All righty, guys. Gentlemen and ladies, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you showing up, even on a short week like this, when I know you're overloaded and got 400 other things to do. Your participation is part of what keeps SaaS alerts moving forward, like I said, with navigating through dev and everything else.
Hey, Anthony,
Yes, Enrique.
quick one, sorry.
No worries.
I haven't sent out an email to thank you all and the team for, I got a support call last week's Thursday call, and where we got a prize, and please thank the whole team and also the people that added extra donations for the food bank. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we were kind of surprised. It's like we wanted to let him know that he'd won a prize, and then we didn't hear from him.
I was on the call, and then when I went to look at the recording, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Oh no.
I got an email about I won something. What did I win? What are we talking?
This is not a phishing email, right?
Oh, I know. I emailed Enrique. He's like, well, no, on the call, we were like, Enrique, you're the winner. And I saw you were on there because I checked. I was like, oh, good, he came on the call. And And I was like, and then somebody said, "Oh, he's in a meeting or something." And I was like,
Someone's
"Okay."
using their
But I
call.
thought eventually you would be like, "Oh, hey guys, I'm doing a call." And then when I emailed you, were like, "What did I win?"
I thought it was a scam or
Congratulations.
something.
And
Thank you
yours
all
had a
very
great
much.
story to go along with it, which was the funny part. And how you went, what was it, 1.3%? I don't know. It was
1.2 or something. I actually had to write it down because I didn't remember.
yeah.
But
And I
thank
remember
you
when Chip
guys.
told me the winner, he's like, "Oh, that's a great story." Like he really boosted it, So we wanted to hear more from you, but you were
Oh my goodness.
super busy. Nope, you were doing what you needed to do, but it was funny.
Everyone have a happy Thanksgiving.
You
All the
too.
best to all of
Okay.
you and yours and your family. Look forward to doing this again next week. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye.